Welcome to Tuesday Talks. My name is Judy Zorn, and today my guests are JD Friley and DeJuan Jordan. They are some of the masterminds behind a brand new educational program that the Great Lakes Chamber Orchestra will be launching in the next week or so. JD Friley is new this year to the Great Lakes Chamber Orchestra Education Committee, and he comes to us with, I guess, 43 years, JD, of experience as in the field of education, both as a teacher in the classroom and in administration. He performed functions as head of schools, director of schools, assistant dean, and he has worked at the Leelanau School in Glen Arbor, Interlochen Pathfinder School, Interlochen Center for the Arts, and there have been a few more. JD is on the education committee, as I said, and we're so fortunate to have his talent and his experience helping us guide our educational programming, and most specifically, what we are here to talk about today, and that is this brand new JAM program. And my other guest, DeJuan Jordan, is the owner and mastermind behind Alpine Media, which is a content creation company that documents visual art with photography and videography. And he is the architect of all the technical aspects of putting JAM together online. He has been amazing in putting a variety of different components together, and we'll have him talk to us in a few minutes about all of that, hopefully not too technically, DeJuan. But anyway, today we're going to talk about a new educational portal that, as I said, we are ready to launch on the Great Lakes Chamber Orchestra website. JAM, which stands for Just Add Music, is for kids, well, really of all ages. Yeah. And as you know, the mission of the Great Lakes Chamber Orchestra is to entertain, to inspire, and to educate. And JAM focuses on the educational aspect of our mission. So, JD, tell us about JAM. What exactly is JAM?
Well, first of all, Judy, I have to tell you, it's been very exciting. I'm really excited, honestly, about, being involved in the Great Lakes Chamber Orchestra program and with the Education Committee. And I know you'll be far too humble to admit this, but this program, JAM, was actually, I think, your vision. And it was very inspiring when we actually did a survey of dozens of regional orchestras and their websites and what they offered. This is unique, and it's unique in the sense that it's very congruent with the mission, but it also is so accessible, and it's accessible to people of all ages, actually, very, very young, like preschool to elementary, middle school, high school, and I've even had some folks say, wow, I think adults would really enjoy some of these things too. Yeah. So the whole idea was to, as I said, being very congruent with your mission, inspiring, entertaining, and also educational, and to bring in aspects, of what music and the arts really mean. So when the Education Committee actually discussed this, we were looking primarily and initially at 4 aspects of JAM. That would be an activities page, where families could go, children can go click on the website, and you can pull down different activity pages that you could download, print. It's very interactive. Also performance gallery, which I think is so cool. And so you can actually, as a family, submit your son or daughter's performance of a piece, and family and friends, and everyone can click on and be able to see them. They have a performance venue there that's very accessible. Also Little Waves, which I think is so important because that's really illustrating how even our youngest audience members, in terms of preschool, can experience and enjoy music. And then something that's called Before the Downbeat, which is not really a biography, but it's more of really being able to know more about that composer and musician from a human connection. And I can't underscore this enough that for me, philosophically, I think it's so important because that human connection is going to really allow you to even enhance your human experience of that person's music. So jam and those four components, that's what we're addressing. I don't know if that answers what you were looking
Yes,
for.
yes, thank you. So DeJuan, that brings us to how do we make this possible? How do we make this happen on an online portal that is accessible and easy to navigate and get through? You've got these four components that you're trying to put together under one hat, if you will, under JAM. So how is that working, DeJuan?
Well, we had a lot of time to try to expand our skill set at Alpine Media during the lock-in of COVID last year. And during that time, we were just looking for more things, something that would be more interesting. And we ended up finding an interactive video element. So I had some practice in it before, but I never actually used it anywhere in a setting, in a professional setting like this before. It was just a lot of testing and things like that. And the platform itself has grown as well. And it's not only videos. I mean, like obviously now when you think about creating a video, you have to think about creating 4 videos or 5 videos, however many different scenes that you want to be in there, you have to think about that's how many are going to be in this one video container. But you can also do things like put outside URLs in there. So like if there's videos that are on YouTube, you can also add those to display if you click a button, things like that. So yeah, I mean, to me, I think it's just as straightforward as website design, except for in the video world. There's nodes and components and things like that.
Right, right. So I know that you've been working on an interactive component, and that's been a new twist for you, and it makes the whole website, the whole JAM experience just come alive and be immediate. So what is that? What does interactive mean?
So I actually thought about this before, like just before I even Googled it. The process was I went to North Central Michigan College up here, and we have this program called InDesign, which is a program where you can create things like interactive newspapers and things like that. And that was actually one of my classes. I had to create a full interactive newspaper on InDesign for graduation there. And that kind of just had me wondering if I could do that all within a video format, because that's what I do. I'm like, people love to read and things like that, but how can I bring that along with the video aspect of people being able to just follow along, but also be able to touch and go where they choose? I mean, even the books that's like choose your own adventure type books inspired this as well.
Right.
And
Right.
Judy, if I can just insert, I just had a chance to see this interactive video that DeJuan is making and how it will work with a website. And it is so cool because, everyone gets probably bored with the idea of pull down menus and things like this. I mean, this just makes it more alive and more welcoming and engaging. So DeJuan, really exciting. Great.
Thank you. Thank you. And, it also helped out by having a good script already. Like, you put together this goes there. How about this, that, even kind of just throwing ideas out there, not necessarily knowing how it's going to end up. But it seems like you knew exactly what was needed to do so. And if there was anything that needed to be altered, it wasn't too brain racking to do so.
Wow.
Right. We had some times, didn't we, DeJuan, with refilming and things like that. But at the end of the day, you're right. With JD and other members of this JAM subcommittee, really had some pretty concrete ideas and programs and scripts put together, and that made it a lot easier than to sort of navigate through to a finished product. So JD, what is important about this? Why do you think that jam and what we're doing is important?
Well, that's interesting. I was thinking about that actually yesterday a lot because obviously we're getting some encouraging news regarding, COVID and eventual lifting of restrictions. But this program, I think, will live long after that because it's been so important in terms of being able to help young people engage in their music. Things like the performance gallery, I think, are so important right now because obviously we can't gather. We're all looking forward to that time when we can go to live performances. But in the meantime, young musicians, are working and kind of need that motivation of being able to have a performance that they can strive for. And this gives that. And plus gives, exposure to their performance, to their family and friends and folks that other than this would not be able to see or hear them. So I think that's so important. I think also, just the activities page and other things like that, will help people to be able to interact, with the idea of knowing more about music in so many different ways, visually, certainly audibly, but also from a text standpoint. So things like crossword puzzles or mazes or finding hidden objects, that's, I think there are a lot of ways they can interact with learning more about music through that way. Little waves, I think that, my own granddaughter, was just at her birthday and, they're like sponges and they want to experience and they want to have that social interaction, which unfortunately right now maybe isn't all that possible, but to be able to watch the video and be able to get ideas and for families to see different ideas on how they can, explore different aspects of music, even at those younger ages, I think it's so important. And hopefully before the downbeat, I think that's something where, again, you can get to know more about that composer and musician from the aspect of knowing them as a person,
Yes.
which I think will resonate a lot.
I think Before the Downbeat is going to be equally as enjoyed by adults as it is by kids. It's a great program, and I have to congratulate JD on that. He is the author of that program, the idea and the script behind Before the Downbeat, and it is just wonderful. We continue to expand and change and pivot. I think that's certainly still a popular word, and most especially with our Little Waves program, because of course the libraries are not open, and our Little Waves program we had done for the past 2 years in local libraries. So this year, of course, we took that and made it into an online program, and DeJuan's magic came through again as we edited hours of taping and turned it into what I think is a pretty interesting program. DeJuan, don't you?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I mean, I showed quite a few people, and every single thing I got back was just like, this is amazing. So it's got me to the point to where I wasn't thinking about this before, but I'm going to do my entire website as this interactive thing where you come on and someone's talking to you about why you're here, you know what I mean? And then offers these different things. It's just a very strong thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I want to underscore again, don't you think, DeJuan and Judy, that this format will live even long after, the restrictions of COVID are lifted? I mean, there'll be a lot of things that people can still, go to this website and utilize even after that time. Wouldn't you think so?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just the simple fact that somebody can just open up one of their devices at home and hit a play button is you can't beat that,
Right, and from anywhere they are. If they're
Mhm.
somebody in Florida or somebody in, let's say you have a grandchild in in Arizona or Florida or California, and you can introduce them to the Great Lakes Chamber Orchestra through the Jam portal and have them experience and maybe even submit, a performance. We have two other people who will be introduced through the Jam portal. And one of them is Tony Manfredonia, who is going to be, I guess we could call it, couldn't we, JD, the face and the voice of Jam?
Yes. And I hope that, folks will get a chance. Well, they will get a chance to see it soon. Tony does such a marvelous job. I mean, he's so engaging in, he's got the charisma, but plus the fact that he's a musician, an educator, a composer, he has all those aspects that I think people will really enjoy and follow along with him.
Yes, it's wonderful. And Tim Mockney, who is our new MC this year of the Little Waves program, and he is, of course, you all know him quite well. He is the principal percussionist of the Great Lakes Chamber Orchestra, and he is also just a wonderful educator and has, again, masterminded how can we take a program that is a live program for small children and make it engaging and interesting online. And I think that he has done a great job with that. And of course, with DeJuan's ability to cut and paste and make that program very engaging, I think that's going to be a lot of fun for us to continue to offer Little Waves as an online program too.
Definitely.
I am as excited, I think, as both of you are. JD, I'm sorry, you were going to say?
Oh, no, I just wanted to say that, you were just introducing some folks, and I think for anybody, and obviously any endeavor, it's bigger than even one person, and certainly for yourself, DeJuan, Tony, also I want to make sure people understand Julie Schleif, who's a professional musician and educator, very much involved in this from the aspect of selecting music and her creative ideas. Laura Kelly, from the social media standpoint. I think the neat thing about all of this is that with all of these people in their involvement, it really gives this kind of, frenetic energy, the chemistry to the Great Lakes Chamber Orchestra. And certainly with the maestro, Libor, and the classical kids programs, et cetera. I just think it's a very, very exciting time. So thank you for your vision and the coordination of this.
Well, thank you both very much for being such a vital role. And as you said, JD, also with Julie and Laura and others in the orchestra and the whole education committee, we are thrilled to add this new component to our educational programs. And watch, stay tuned, click on the Great Lakes Chamber Orchestra website. On the home page, right up in the corner, you're going to see a brand new Jam, J-A-M logo that you can click on, and you will hear the voice of Tony Manfredonia, and you will see the 4 component parts of Jam that you can click on and get right into it and see what the whole Jam program is about. JD and DeJuan, I want to thank you very much for joining me today on Tuesday Talks. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in again this week on Tuesday Talks. This has been, well, it's been an incredible program that we have offered now over a year. And it has been an insight into the Great Lakes Chamber Orchestra and people that make the orchestra, people, musicians, other community members, board members. It takes, as you just said, JD, it takes a community to make a good, strong organization. And I thank all of you so much for being part of the orchestra, for the support that you provide for the orchestra, and of course, for tuning in on Tuesday Talks. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.